Welcome back to JJ's Cheese Shop. If you can't tell, it runs now. Turns out the wideband O2 was the problem. So this episode we're going to focus on the interior and putting air conditioning on. So the kit we went with is called Old Air Products. It's a hurricane kit. The reason we did that is because it's the cheapest by a couple $100, and it seems to be a pretty good kit so far. We're going to skip ahead to the compressor and the condenser brackets because I have a feeling this right here is going to be right in the way of where we mounted that power steering pump. So we're going to rip the grill out, the hood latch, and everything basically in the front. We already got the radiator out and put the 3-groove pulley on. Drain the radiator. Look how much mud was still in that radiator. That's insane. We're gonna rip all this out, and it looked like the holes for those to go through were like right where that stuff is. So hopefully, we can figure something out. Okay, the whole front end off of this. Well, it looks like a Falcon now, but this Mustang's ripped apart, and here's the wet line, discharge, dryer outlet. No, that's not it. Safety, something. Yeah, dryer outlet. Okay, there we go. Dryer outlet. Alright, so this is that tube. And this looks like it'll be right about there. And if it's down low enough, there might be room for this and that switch to sit. And the switch is right here with some doodads. If anything, we might just have to make some clearance on this bracket. I don't know. I'm gonna drill a hole right about there. Right about there-ish. And see where it comes through. So it looks like we have enough room, because if you look down here, oh, there's a crimp still down there. Don't focus down. Okay, well, you get the idea. Right down in there. It looks like there's like a little cavity. Hopefully, that's right where that tube is, or we can maybe bend this a little bit. It looks like it's an aluminum line, so pretty easy to bend. We'll figure it out. I'm going to start drilling that hole and see what happens. Well, I think I've got it figured out. So the lines ran through the hole, and here's that power steering bracket. I had to trim out quite a bit off of it, but it should still be pretty strong. There's a little divot right here. I'm not really sure what that was for. Let me get these wires out of the way. But there's a divot in here. Maybe that was for a hose. I don't know. But if this sits in that divot nicely, this hooked up right there with the bolts in place, we've got clearance. It should be pretty decent. So that's solved-ish. I don't really want to mess with this dryer too much, so I'm going to keep that cap on and move on to the compressor bracket. Compressor's on. Really, there's not much to show you. There's 2 brackets, and they give you a really good diagram on how it all goes together. The only problem I ran into is right here. See how it says 3/8 16 bolts? Well, I don't know if you can really read that, but it says 3/8 16 bolts, which small block Ford's heads usually are 7/16 bolts instead of 3/8. So we had to use those, which fine, just bargain bin, grab a couple bolts. Compressor installed. Okay, to get this party started of removing the old heater core, there's 4 nuts out here. I got the 2 top ones off, the bottom one's loose. I'm gonna continue getting those. There's 3 wires that come out of there. There's a power, high, low, or something, I don't know. There's 2 red and orange wires, and then there's a black ground. I got those loose, so that way all I have to do is take those nuts loose, and then I'll move on the inside. First step is to gently remove the glove box compartment, which, as you know, in these old cars are cardboard, so you have to be very, very, very gentle with them. There's a screw there, a couple up there, 1 over there, and then 3 at the bottom here, and then you just kind of wiggle it very gently. It's going to be Sorry, I had to sneeze. It's going to be kind of a pain to get back in, but it's out, and I don't think I tore it anywhere. Thank God. Now you can see the heater box. Looks like there's just 2 controls on it I have to remove. What do these do? So that's... I don't hear that one doing it. Maybe there's another cable down there. So this is... Oh, there's temp. That moves that. And then heat. That moves that door. So I'm going to go in and remove those. And then looks like there's a big screw there. And... oh, there's the other control. That must be this one. Oh, yeah. Figure out how to remove that guy. And it should just come out, right? Right. Okay, I believe we have freedom. One thing to note, when you're removing these defroster ducts, if you're replacing everything, just be very, very gentle. You know, just to be on the safe side in case none of those, oops. Basically, that's how much it takes to rip it, and they need replaced anyway. So if you're doing this without installing an AC, I would replace those, definitely. Okay, I'm gonna try to wiggle this thing out. This should be fun. We have freedom. That was actually extremely easy. Compared to AC cars or Fox body ones, you have to rip the whole dash out. This you kind of just work through the glove box, came right out. It's sitting over there with the pile of the rest of the junk. Pulled the factory vent control cable thingy out because we're going to reuse those for this kit because I think that looks neater than some newer electronic thing. And then pulled the fresh air duct out. So if anybody needs a fresh air duct from a 64 to 66 Mustang, this one's brand new. I mean, it's not even oversprayed or anything. It is perfect. Now they included fresh air block off plates, so I'm going to go throw those in. There's 2 holes. One in there, and then one way up there-ish somewhere. We'll see how that goes. Well, I got the easy side installed. Now time for the hard side. It's kind of neat. The stuff around it kind of is like Play-Doh / toilet wax ring material. And it comes with some self-tappers. Hopefully I can get to it. It's not going to be that bad. It'll be alright. Everything's fine. It's fine. Well, the hard part's actually in. This is the whole big unit, the inside unit. It really wasn't that bad at all. There was a bracket that went onto it with 4 screws. And then, or bolts, whatever you want to call it. And then that stuck out 4 studs. And you just tighten it down. There's a little rubber grommet here. Oh, I had to drill a hole down here and put a grommet through for the drain line. But other than that, it's pretty simple. This is your JT valve. Just ran the coil over to here and taped it up with the rubber goofy tape. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just 4 bolts. Sounds a lot more ridiculous than it actually is. Well, if you're reading the instructions, there's 4,000 things that they're saying, but it's all pretty easy. Now, this part might actually be a pretty difficult. This is going to be the control integration. Hopefully they made it easy with all this gobbledygook. We will see. I'm gonna dive in now. Well, I got the switch out and I took the rest of the knobs off. I think while it's out, I'm gonna try to clean up some of this overspray, and it just looks like crap. So I have some Colonel Brassy. We'll see if it works. I'm not sure if it was supposed to have that textured stuff on it or that was some of the flake when they painted the dash, but it took all of it off and it's coming out fairly decent. If it didn't need it, oops, but it definitely looks a lot better now. So we're going to keep working on this and then work on the knobs that are all disgusting looking. Well, that's a whole lot better. It's not perfect, but I believe it's probably original, and so that'd make it 60 years old. So it's better. It's better. Big one's the knob. Look at the difference between that one and that one. I mean, a huge difference. It's the little things, you know, to make it feel like a nicer car. I had to do a little finagling. It says in the instructions, the heat lever makes, test heat lever to make sure it engages the micro switch when knob is at the top of control. Well, this little tab, I had to bend it just a little bit, so that way, it's about 3/4 of the way up. That's pretty top. I might bend it just a little bit more so it makes sure it engages at the top. But that's the only thing I've really had to like modify so far. So we were jobbing pretty good. I got that in there, and I got the center ducts ran, and then he just went absolutely nuts in here with...
So what you do is you take this stuff and you have to orient it to where the sound will flow in different direct. No, you don't. You put it however the hell you can cut it and get it in, and you piece it together. It sticks. It's good.
So this is
going over it.
Pro Silas Pro. It's deadener and thermal shield, and then this up here has the foil stuff. Hopefully that will keep most of the heat out from the engine bay. Still need to run these screws down in for this thing, so that way it will be quiet as can be in here, is what we're going for. The cardboard to separate this is kind of junk. We'll probably still use it, Nathan, whenever it comes time and you get tired of it, you're gonna have to replace that. But the box is in. I think I already showed you all that. I got a couple of the ducts ran back in there to this thingy-madooger. Then we need to put the carpet in before we put the kick panel on. Then we put the kick panel on, and then we can put the side pieces on, and then it's all one flowy thingamadoogie. But we're getting there.
Base.
Trouble. Base. Trouble. We got all the hoses ran. We just took them to our local Napa, and they crimped them for us, cut to fit, make sure they all ran. We need to clean this whole thing up. It is an absolute giant mess down here. But we're throwing this radiator in, and let me just tell you what not to do. So this car was in a wreck at some point, and so this little bitty flange right here, it's bent up. So the radiator doesn't sit fully flush. Do not cut another freaking hole. Just bend it back down. Put a board and a hammer. What were these people thinking? Nope, we'll just drill another hole. So that hole you cannot use with this because it is so far close to this, it has to be in the factory holes because it's made for the factory holes. Ah! Hey, look. Carpet. Neat. Okay. Things are happening. We got the octopus arms all installed under there, and all the wiring is kind of tucked away. I'm going to put the glove box door back in place and then try to put the rest of this interior back in. And guess what? We have a car now. Well, a car with AC. It's officially back on the ground with the AC compressor in it. All the fan belts are rounded. We changed out an O2 sensor back there, so it runs pretty well now. And it looks pretty trick sitting on the ground here. Just got to finish putting the interior back together for the 47th, maybe 50th time. We're waiting on a spring to put back in here for the steering wheel. The gauges are all kind of in there. Glove box door is in there. I put zip ties around the harness under there and kind of tied it up out of the way. And it's a pretty nice little car. But what's cool, turn the key on. We got air coming out here. Go to the defrost. We got air coming out here. It is pretty trick. Pull that back up, turn that off, and then that's cool. That's so cool. It is so cool. It's little things that we were trying to get working to, like the gauge lights. There's no way you're going to be able to see that. Gauge lights work. The tach's wired up with the lights. Those lights work. Brake lights work. Turn signals work now. We're having a lot of dirty power coming in from that fuse box back here. Just kind of bypassed it and put add fuses. Now all we got to do is take this out and get it aligned. get the AC sucked down and filled up, and hopefully at that point give it back to him. I'm going to drive it back and forth to work a couple of days just to work out any of the kinks that we come up with, because inevitably that will happen. Put the back seat back in, that's pretty important. But it's about a wrap on this car. Alright, I think that's it for this episode of JJ Speed Shop. Hit that subscribe button and AMF, everybody.